everyone.
Good afternoon, and I'm going to call to order the Pierce County Council and Tuesday study session. The date is February 18th, 2025. The time is 12:00 p.m. and all members are present. We're going to go right to item number 2, which are our legislative dates. Mr. Taylor, are you going to kick that off for us?
Thank you, Chair Hitchen. As is typical within your study session packet, we have this week's legislative session briefing materials. So the watch list that the councils and counties, state legislative affairs contractor Mike Shaw prepares weekly is included in your packet. We do have Mr. Shaw here today. He's in Olympia, so he's joining us virtually, but it's the once a year meeting where all the jurisdictions and representatives come together for the Pierce County Regional Council. They learn a little bit about each other in terms of the jurisdictions. There's a roll call of cities that's kind of fun. So you learn a little bit about each of the 23 cities and towns that are members of the PCRC. The annual report's provided and they approve a work plan. For the last couple of years, we've also done the Healthy Community Awards from the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department. So communities are recognized by the health department for good works that they do related to public health. So that is what's on for this week that I'd like to report on regarding external boards and commissions.
Thank you for that. Okay, lights came up. We'll go to Councilmember Morrell.
Thank you. And Mr. Taylor did remind me, if you're going to attend Pierce County Regional Council meeting, then you've got to come up with something unique pertaining to Pierce County, because everyone else will kind of say something special about their jurisdiction. So there is a history that is constantly repeated in these meetings. So you just need to be aware of that. If
You're first on the list. I assumed you were.
I think I am headed up to meeting in Enumclaw to look at annexing Enumclaw into Pierce County. It's a rumor, but anyway, I've got to check my schedule, but I think I'm meeting with Enumclaw.
Okay, well, if people have some suggestions.
Councilmember Herrera, it's on his list, so.
To go to Enumclaw?
No,
Okay.
no, to go in my place.
Okay.
I will
Perfect.
verify that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
Okay, I'll add it to my to-do list to come up with something unique to Pierce County, and I will take any and all suggestions from council members and staff. Because I can think of a couple things, but not sure if they're unique to just Pierce County. How many ghost towns? We have 3?
No, we got a half a dozen. I
Okay.
just only talk about 3, but I can come up with more.
Are there other counties with ghost towns? I'm assuming there are.
No, unless Wilkerson talks, Carbonado talks, they take all my ghost towns.
Okay. We'll
Just
see.
don't bring up the Fox Island Bridge.
Point. Okay, Councilmember Ayala.
Thank you, Chair. Not related to this. I do want to report out on a couple of meetings. So Thursday, February 13th, met with Tacoma Arts Live. Do want to bring forward to this. They are having their annual Vivid fundraiser for the arts, March 22nd, if anyone is interested in attending. There was also an interesting factoid around their public engagement. Surprising to me, the 25 to 34 years of age was their highest engagement, followed by 35 to 44, which is what I thought would be their highest engagement. But there's that. And then also JMAC met February 14th. Councilmember Yambe attended. It was our quarterly CEO meeting, which means CEOs and executive directors of all the jurisdictions came in and they discussed the impacts of the federal executive orders. As well, we had a special presentation from the Tacoma Streets Initiative too, which has improvement areas in all the Tacoma City Council districts. They are still receiving public comment on any needs for the streets initiative. So if any members of the public want to submit any street improvement ideas, that will be up for a while.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go to Vice Chair Herrera.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to report that I got to do my first meeting with the NACO Veterans and Military Services Monthly Meeting. Really interesting stuff. They had a conversation on veterans' mental health outside of the VA. And the presenter that time was the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Centers, which are across the nation. But they specifically talked about how Pierce County helped fund some of that program. And that only happens with about 3 or 4 other clinics across the United States. And how that was a force multiplier where Lakewood is the most active Stephen A. Cohen clinic, which the rest of the clinics are all funded by private funds from the Cohen family and stuff like that. So it was really, really neat. Many times Pierce County was mentioned of doing really good work. So just want to throw that one out there. Thank you, Chair.
And I missed it. We'll go to Councilmember Krueger.
Thank you, Chair. I just was wondering if the JMAC meeting was recorded, because I'd like to listen to the presentation
Yes.
on this, the Tacoma streets.
Yes,
Okay.
I can send that over.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other boards and commissions? Not seeing any. That brings us to discussion of any administrative items. Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. So Chair, I just wanted to mention one thing for Tuesday study session. I'm not certain if it's exactly administrative item, but it's something for awareness for the members. So next week, February 25th, we're planning for a refresher course or familiarization with the department director appointment process that's under the county charter and rules of procedure. I think members are aware there's 6 department director appointments that are going to happen within the next month to month and a half. So each of those requires confirmation through the council. And so I know several of the members haven't been through that process before, so it'll be a refresher on how that process is commenced under the rules of procedure. Ms. Long will provide that. So that's the only item I wish to note for next week, at least.
Okay. And under chair's topics, I will reiterate Ms. Long's request. If you haven't sent in a question, please make sure you do so. If you have questions about the questions, please come see me. Other than that, I don't have anything else. So we will go to Mr. Dominique for an update on communications and proclamations.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the council. I'm Brian Dominique, your communications manager. I only have one update for you today, but it's a pretty exciting update. So a few weeks ago, I mentioned that we were going to start trying to live stream our committee meetings onto YouTube. I spoke with PCTV and we were able to make that happen. I'm doing a beta test of it this week. We've live streamed our Health and Human Services Committee, our Rules and Operations Committee, all without any issues. Council meetings are always live streamed. We're not live streaming study sessions. We just post those, and that's in part because we can't tap into the system they have when we, because we don't broadcast these. And this fits in really well because this gives the council some options. Earlier, a couple of years ago, the council changed its rules of procedure to be able to just cast it somewhere, not necessarily broadcast it on a cable television. So if you ever run any issues with the channel, this gives us the ability to live stream it out and still conduct council business.
Councilmember Krueger, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And will that track viewership?
I can't say definitively that it will, but in my experience, it does. People tend to go to YouTube for video content. It's the major platform right now. And it just makes it more searchable.
I just asked that because a lot of times I look things up and I'll have 6 views or 19 views or something. And I'm assuming there's really not an expense to this though?
No expense.
To do that? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that. Any other updates from you?
That is all I have.
Okay, perfect. Well, there is no other business before us in study session unless anybody has a question. Councilmember Yambe.
Madam Chair, I had to confer with sorry. I had to confer with my colleague about when was the appropriate time to bring something up. So I just wanted to add, this last week, Councilmember Ayala and I attended the Hosmer Business District meeting, and got some updates on Safe Tacoma Streets, and just some of the work that they're doing, to get engaged with the business community. And then the second item I was going to bring up was on Thursday, I attended the Washington State Department of Commerce is doing a outreach and study on Dash Point and Browns Point incorporation. And so participated in listening to the residents who were at the event. And we'll have some further updates, but this was the first kind of volley. And they're doing a online survey right now, which I can make sure that is posted, trying to collect feedback from residents and people who do business in the area. And they're just trying to get, so far at that time, they had like 100 survey responses, and about like 80% they measured were, residents or people who do business in the community. So interesting process, and yeah, we'll keep you posted.
Is the question being posed to just incorporate independently or annex or just?
The particular question on that is what it would look like to incorporate Browns Point and Dash Point.
Okay,
And
so
this-
still process of how that looks.
Yeah, and like what it would they have a consulting group who's talking about what costs would be related, how much that would pull together, just measuring different metrics. And this was a item that Representative Phi had some constituents bring up, and so he put some funding into the Department of Commerce to look into this issue. So
Thank you for the update. Appreciate it. We'll go to Councilmember Morrell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did attend a Puyallup Sumner Chamber this morning, and the accessor treasurer, Marty Campbell, was on there. And just for everyone's info, the valuation cards went out on the 14th. So expect some emails once those start hitting the boxes. That's basically on the assessments. The biggest assessment goes to Sumner and Bonnie Lake due to the very large citizens voted in bond issue for the Sumner Bonnie Lake School District. Expect a 25% increase, both in evaluation and taxes paid. So get ready, Councilmember Herrera, for your phone to ring off the hook on that issue. But he said it is the largest increase in Pierce County in recent history. But other jurisdictions did go down a little bit. He didn't really elaborate on too much of that. But the other thing that we might want to keep an eye on is Multicare also made a comment pertaining to the large amount of bills that are down in Olympia that could affect the impact on hospitals, emergency clinics, other clinics, that they are really concerned about some of the direction that some of those bills are going. So if any of your jurisdictions have hospitals in them, mainly the large ones, Multicare, St. Franciscan, you may want to just touch base with them because they're a little concerned about what could happen to their business models if any of those pass. So anyway, that was interesting. So thank you.
Thank you. You started a trend. We'll go to Councilmember Krueger.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for bringing that up, Councilmember Morel. It just made me think back where my husband was just talking to my son who is on PSC Power. And I believe their bill jumped from like 500 to 600 a month, and a friend of theirs went even higher. And then just as an FYI, a friend that had an operation on the little toe just received, well, his insurance company received, it was like 13,000 or 17,000, I'm thinking $17,000 refund from the hospital for having been overcharged. There was a forensic audit being done on the hospital, and they found that that was overcharged. So I don't know where that will lead to, but I believe our constituents are being kind of hammered all around on expenses and increases, and I don't have answers, but it's just things to be aware of. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I'm afraid to ask. Any other business before us in study session? Seeing none, we are adjourned for the rest of the day and see you here at 3.